Our correspondent Akhilesh Suman joins us for more from Delhi, and we're also joined in by D. Vinod Kumar, our correspondent from Dubai. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining in. Akhilesh, first to you. We see both the US and Iran refusing to budge down, and both have warned each other when we talk of the future course of action. How do we see the further days, the war to further pan out in the days ahead? No immediate respite in sight?
Yeah, you are true, Preeti. Actually, if you remember that Donald Trump had given an ultimatum of 10 days earlier, and that 10 days before the two days of the 10 days, he is telling that this is the new ultimatum, that you should abide by what Donald Trump had said regarding the Strait of Hormuz, and also regarding the attacks on this energy facilities in the West Asian countries. So I think Iran had also given such type of cautions to USA that if we are attacked in a different way, we will also attack in a different way. So I think both countries are keeping their stand very tight. Very they are replying each other in the same tone. So I think there is no letdown by anyone. So everyone is keeping the fingers crossed that what will happen after this ultimatum, because that what we understand that both are fighting with full force. But that means that still some more force is there that either Americans have not used or Iranians have not used. So what that full force will be there, that has to be seen. But in the meantime, you see that attacks are going from Iran in different West Asian countries. And as you have mentioned earlier, that be it energy source or be it petrochemical hubs, everything is being attacked by Iranians in the West Asia. Earlier, we have also seen that American-Israeli forces had attacked also a petrochemical hub inside Iran. So I think it is a tit-for-tat all the day. It is tit-for-tat all the night. So everyone, both Americans and Iranians are fighting. Let us see that how it pans up, because that as far as the stranded soldier was concerned, it was like a Hollywood movie that we have seen earlier in many movies, that how a stranded soldier from America had been rescued from Afghan soil, and now it is happening on Iranian soil. So let's see that what will happen after the ultimatum. But till now, there is no de-escalation at all.
Yes, there is no de-escalation, but then US President had issued a sharp 48-hour warning to Iran. At the same time, Iran also reciprocated with a warning. With Strait of Hormuz becoming a flashpoint, is the world prepared for more, tense days ahead?
Actually, Strait of Hormuz has been world property. It was not Iranians' property at all. It was international water, and in international water, there is always a freedom of navigation. But Iran is using this international water as its own strategic and tactical tool. And that is why the whole world is getting affected. Though Iranians have told that they will not allow American and Israeli ships through that Strait of Hormuz, but Iranians will allow friendly countries. And in that friendly countries, some of the countries, including India, ships are also being allowed. But that is not the question. There was no question of allowing, there was no question of permission earlier. I had asked this question to the Ministry of External Affairs, or also to the interministerial press conference, and they have told that freedom of navigation is there in the Strait of Hormuz, and we didn't need any permission. So I think it is just the question of strategic tool that Iran is trying to get. So it is a pressure on American side that before this attack, Strait of Hormuz was free for all, and now after this attack, Strait of Hormuz has been restricted. So it is a responsibility of Americans that they should make it free. And now Donald Trump is giving ultimatum to Iranians that make it free. So now it is between Iranians and the US president that whether they come to a negotiating point, at a point that freedom of navigation is ensured there. But in between, other diplomatic efforts are also being taken. And if you remember that Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, had also organized a meeting of different countries. Indian, Foreign Secretary also participated virtually in that, and they all, said that freedom of navigation must be ensured. So now world converge on one thing, that freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz should be ensured. How it will be ensured? This country says that there is no military solution, but Donald Trump is saying that if there is no opening, there will be military attack on that area, and further actions will be taken against Iran if it is not reopened.
All right, I'll bring in DV Vinod here. We have reports from Iran claiming that an F-15 was shot down inside Iranian airspace with the pilot initially on the run. The US president has now confirmed that the pilot was successfully rescued. What more can you tell us? Can you simplify how the entire sequence of events unfolded?
Well, Preeti, this was actually a high-risk combat search and rescue operation which culminated successfully today. Earlier on Friday, Iran claimed that it shot down an F-35 by its air defenses. An F-35 is a single-engine, single-pilot aircraft. Later, the aircraft turned out to be not an F-35 but an F-15EX. The US confirmed the shoot down, and successful multi-aircraft ground rescue crew members were deployed for search and rescue. Let's analyze it step by step. This F-15 Strike Eagle is a non-stealth aircraft. It was conducting missions over the skies of Iran, and while it was operating in the Iranian airspace somewhere in southwestern Iran, maybe in Khuzestan area or in the Boyar Ahmad province, it was shot down by the Iranian air defense. Now we should understand that why it was shot down. War Secretary Hegseth and Trump was repeatedly claiming that we have complete air superiority. In US doctrine, there are two elements. One is air superiority and the second one is air supremacy. Air superiority means there is no prohibitive fire that is happening there in the airspace that you can operate a non-stealth aircraft. An F-15EX is a non-stealth aircraft. Air supremacy is complete obliteration of their air defenses. That US have not achieved it. And Iran's Qadam and Albiya confirmed that they used new generation air defense systems like the Bavar 373 and the Khorad 15 systems to target this F-15. Meanwhile, after getting struck, both these crew members ejected safely. Iran released photos of the wreckage, claimed the kill by state media, and offered a reward of $60,000. That's a huge amount of money in Iran. Now we have actually 2 airmen down. Immediately after the showdown of this F-15, an A-10 Thunderbolt Warthog is entering the flight. This is part of the rapid response package. An A-10 Thunderbolt was doing close air support missions near the Strait of Hormuz. This particular aircraft is made around a gun, which is used for close air support. It flies very low. So this was already doing the missions in the earliest night of Friday, and it was immediately deployed. And this also came under Iranian fire, most probably by a Zu-23 Soviet-era anti-aircraft gun. But however, the pilot has skillfully managed and steered the aircraft towards west out of the Iranian airspace, and the pilot ejected safely in somewhere in Persian Gulf from the Strait of Hormuz. Now actually at this point we have 3 crew members down, and since the A-10 pilot was outside the Iranian space, he was successfully recovered immediately, most likely by an MH-60 Seahawk helicopter in the Persian Gulf. Definitely this A-10 did help enable the initial rescue of the first F-15 crew member. It provided critical close air support. Now after this happened, the primary search package is being deployed. All this is happening in Friday night. See, in the primary search package includes HC-130J Combat King aircraft. This is actually a big twin prop aircraft. India also operates a variant of this. This called the C-130J Super Hercules for tactical operations. This HC-130J combat aircraft comes with 2 Black Hawks for the primary extraction. This is actually confirmed by visuals from Iran. This is actually confirmed in news. We in social media we can see that one HC-130J is accompanied by 2 Black Hawks. These 2 combat rescue aircraft yes, actually flew very low, and one of the pilots, as I mentioned earlier, F-15 contains 2 persons. One is a pilot and the second is a weapon systems officer. So the pilot was extracted by this particular crew of 2 Black Hawks, and during this particular operation the Black Hawks came under again on Iranian fire. The crew sustained minor damages. However, the HC-130J, that is the main command center, they called for F-35 fighters most probably, and that Iranian air defense was suppressed. Now, out of the 3 crew members, 2 are now rescued. Now there is a weapon systems officer who is down in Iran, in somewhere in the Khuzestan province. During this during such a situation, their training kicks in. They are trained for something called SCRE operations, that is survive, evade, rescue, and escape. So he used his communication equipment to send a burst of a very short encrypted message to the US forces somewhere in the Gulf as a beacon location. So using this beacon location, they were hunting for him for not hunting, searching for him for the last 48 hours. So now the things that we know today happened today morning. Today morning, using multiple intelligence sources and multiple firefights, the same search and rescue package of HC-130J and with multiple other aircrafts, there was a firefight, and the second weapon systems officer was successfully extracted. Now we have an Iranian claim that two of their aircrafts are down. During this particular operation, there is another aircraft was also involved. It was called the MC-130J. This is again another variant of the C-130, but this is used for clandestine purposes in a very low operations. During this particular operation, during an infiltration or an exfiltration operation, this 130J got stuck in a mud plane here in Iran, and they were not able to fly back. So there are two conflicting claims over here. One claim by the US says that they destroyed that 130J so that that technology will not come into the hands of Iranians.
Right.
Iranian is claiming that they destroyed it in a firefight. So this particular aspect is currently not clear. But what is currently clear is that both the crew of the first initially downed F-15EX and the weapon system officer is successfully extracted.
All right. Thank you so much, Vinod, for joining us with those details from Dubai. So we had inputs coming in from our correspondent Akhilesh Suman from Delhi and our correspondent DV Vinod from Dubai on the West Asia conflict.